¿Qué pasa, mon friends? It's your boy Edgar here, bringing you a super elaborate video going over my favorite movies of 2016 along with reasonings for their rankings. Oscar season is quickly approaching. Actually, as of time of recording, it is this Sunday, and it's finally time to acknowledge all the good movies. Some of them may not get any recognition on stage, others a bit too much. But anyways, this might take a while, so DVR The Walking Dead for later because it's time for the top 16 movies of 2016. Now, before I get into the definitive 16, here are a few honorable mentions. Kubo and the Two Strings. I highly appreciate the love and craftsmanship that went into making it, but it was kind of boring for being a kids movie, to be honest. There were a handful of scenes that I loved, but I don't even remember the names of any character besides friggin' Kubo. I think anyone who loves film or animation should see it because it truly is a work of art. But I'd hold off on showing your younglings it for a couple years so that they can fully appreciate it. Morris from America. A coming-of-age movie that takes the perspective of an African-American living in Germany with his dad. The events that take place within the film are pretty standard for this type of movie, but it's the character of the dad and the ending in particular that made this one feel like it was well worth the watch. It's cute at times, but I don't blame you for skipping it because it really doesn't bring anything new to the formula. Hell or High Water. Now, it's only my honorable mentions because, to be honest, I didn't finish it. I really liked what I saw of it, but I can't give it a fair criticism if I haven't seen the whole thing, so maybe one day I'll go back to it, but for now, it gets a shout out. The Infiltrator. An interesting true story that was incoherently put to film. Bryan Cranston gives a great performance as an agent going undercover to infiltrate Escobar's drug shenanigans, but I believe Pablo was only in it for one frame. One! He just kind of walks by the camera and Brian is like, was that Pablo Escobar? Or something like that. And yeah, if you went to the theater to see Pablo in action, you just got fucked out of like $10. Things, just happen. Nothing ever flows well. Just random events thrown together simply because they were true and really happened. But at least it was entertaining to see this true story come to life on the big screen. Alright. Now that we've taken care of all the honorable mentions, let's get right into number 16, which is Secret Life of Pets. Now, if you saw my Norm of the North vs. Rogue One video, you may have caught on to the fact that I have a strong distaste towards Illuminati entertainment. Their movies are for the most part lazy and terrible, so I had absolutely no expectations going into this one. To my surprise, it was highly enjoyable. I laughed out loud whenever the bunny played by Kevin Hart was on screen, and this would be one of the few kids' movies of 2016 that I would recommend for both adults and children alike. Number 15, Zootopia. Back at it again with the kids' movies. Now this one is even better than the last because of how much I appreciated the themes of racism and inequality that this movie touched on. It was all presented in a way that younger audiences can comprehend whilst remaining a highly entertaining film that got a few hearty laughs out of me. Number 14, Swiss Army Man. This is actually the movie I saw the most recently out of all on this list, so it's still pretty fresh in my head. All I could think of once the credits were rolling was, wow, what a unique movie. It was initially hard to get into because I thought, oh fuck me, Daniel Radcliffe better not be a silent protagonist for the entire movie, but I stuck through with it, and the moment he says his first words, it becomes a bizarre, hilarious, and heartwarming adventure to find their way home while finding themselves. Corny as it may be, the way this movie shows the self-journeys is so damn good, it makes you think about your own life. Highly recommend checking this one out. Number 13, War Dogs. The director of the Hangover trilogy making a movie with Miles Teller and Jonah Hill? I was totally in the minute I saw the trailer. Once the reviews came out though, I lost interest because they were all mediocre. Months later, I said fuck it and decided to check it out. To my surprise, this was a great true story film. The difference between this and The Infiltrator is that War Dogs has a more consistent flow to it. I think the pacing is what holds it back from being truly great, but I still encourage everyone to see this movie because of how fascinating the rise and fall of these young arms dealers is. Number 12, Hardcore Henry. I watched the music video this was inspired from years ago and thought, oh tits me, this would be a cool movie idea. Years later, a concept trailer came out for a movie called Hardcore. It was as cool as the music video, so I had all faith in the film. Once it became a reality and turned into Hardcore Henry, the trailers were unsurprisingly great. I checked the movie out, and the concept pulled off pretty well for the length of a feature film. The action scenes were cool, the musical number in the middle of it was so absurd that I couldn't help but enjoy it, and Charlton Copley playing all the different characters really elevated the whole thing for me. It was a blast, and I think gaming and action fans alike should check it out. Number 11, Warcraft. Alright, pretentious film snobs and overly critical virgins, please don't hurt me for this one. I know I got bad reviews and all, but hear me out. The CGI was absolutely phenomenal, and I'm baffled it got no Oscar nomination for it. The characters were interesting enough to make me care about what was going on, and as a person who has never played a Warcraft game, I was able to, for the most part, understand what was going on. The best thing I can say in addition to all that is that the ending actually made me excited for a sequel. It sets up an interesting situation that I would love to see resolved in a series of films. Everyone hated it, and it didn't do so well in the domestic box office, so the only reason we would ever get sequels is because of how well it did in China.
Thanks, China.
So, if you never gave it a chance because of the reviews, I suggest you see it for yourself and then come back and let me know what you think of it. I can't be the only one who liked this movie, right? Number 10, Green Room. A film that comes from the director of Blue Ruin, a wonderful indie film that had no reason to be as good as it was. Here, we see his next film involving a punk band trapped in a neo-Nazi bar after they witness a murder. It's dark, violent as shit, and Patrick Stewart as the head neo-Nazi was fucking badass. I wish he was given more to do on screen, but the movie overall was great, even better than Blue Ruin in my opinion, and this is one that I'll remember for years to come. Number 9, Deadpool. aka the movie we never deserved as a human being species. When I first saw it, my friend hyped it up to god level, so I initially thought it was okay at best. A few months later, I watched it again, and it was actually even funnier the second time. The opening credits are friggin' hilarious because now I know what every credit was referencing to, and I didn't have any expectations that needed living up to. This should be the new standard for superhero movies, the way the Avengers inspired everything Hollywood is now shitting out since 2012. Instead of making cinematic universes, superhero movies should strive to be unique and push the boundaries for what they can do. This was a hard R movie with the violence and dialogue, all presented in the form of a comedy movie, and it worked so wonderfully that I now cannot wait for the sequel. Number 8. Keanu. In the year of pretty bad comedies, Keanu stands out as one of the few that actually made me laugh hard throughout the whole thing. My only complaint is that Keanu himself wasn't in the movie enough, but Key and Peele freaking nail it in their first movie together. I hope they make many more of this caliber, and even though I've never heard of anyone actually having seen it, I strongly recommend you do. Number 7. The Nice Guys. AKA the movie nobody knows they deserve, since nobody freaking watched it. When you want to talk about original movies, there's nothing that came out in 2016 like The Nice Guys, a buddy cop comedy that takes place in the 70s, written and directed by Shane Black? Fuck me. Ryan Gosling absolutely murders his role, giving such a great and hilarious performance that I honestly believe he should have been nominated for an Oscar for this role instead of as Sebastian in La La Land. Yeah, write your hate for me in the comments for thinking he was better here than he was in La La Land. I'm a massive fan of the guy, and my favorite thing about him is his screaming. I thought Place Beyond the Pines couldn't be topped for having the best Ryan Gosling scream. Everybody get down on the fucking floor! But this movie delivers like 10 screams that are way better. It's so funny and unique that I beg people to go and see this. It really is something special. Number 6. Captain America: Civil War. I've seen this bitch twice and I fucking love it. It's super hype, and that motorcycle flip during that Winter Soldier chase scene on the highway has to hands down be the hypest moment of 2016 that made me yell, "Fuck yeah!" every time I saw it. It also gave us the best on-screen Spider-Man so far. Don't worry, Toby, still love you lots. I have nothing else to say other than if you're a miserable hack that hasn't seen this yet, go on Netflix right now and watch it. You're welcome. Number 5. Tower. An emotionally powerful documentary done unlike anything you've ever seen. It's about the University of Texas Tower shooter that opened fire on people with a sniper, and due to lack of real footage, most of the movie is done with animated reenactments of the events. It is truly gripping throughout, and it shows how humanity can truly shine through in the darkest of times. If you need a good tearjerker, this is the documentary for you. Number 4. The Witch, The Vitch, however you want to say it. Why did people stop talking about this? What the fuck, society? Just because it came out in January, it doesn't mean that it's okay to forget this masterpiece of a film. Though it plays out more like a family drama than a horror film, it is hands down the best horror movie I've ever seen in my life, and I fucking hate that genre. The dialect is given so much attention to detail, it's astounding. The acting is perfect. The cinematography is second to none. The screenplay is so solid that I can't believe this got absolutely no love from the Academy. It's fine though. This is the first film from this director, so as long as he keeps making more movies of this caliber, I'm sure he'll find great success eventually. But for now, please watch this film and tell your loved ones about it. It's truly phenomenal and is, in my opinion, one that is a hallmark of 21st century cinema. Number 3. Sing Street. God damn, what a movie. The original music is fantastic, the story is so cute, the acting is top notch, and I can't give it enough praise. The only other movie I've seen from this director is Begin Again, and I fucking loved that movie also, so I had high expectations for this one. This shattered every single one of them and more. They don't make movies like this anymore, and it's a shame that it wasn't given a chance to be popular in the mainstream. Begin Again had trailers shown for it all the time when it came out, and not hearing about this one only until months after it came out is truly a shame. It's on Netflix now, so please show it some love and tell me all about how you feel about it in the comments below. I would love to spend more time gushing over this wonderful film. Number 2. La La Land.
Why?
Ah, fuck me. Please put your guns and pitchforks away. Let me explain why it isn't my number 1. I'll start with this. I fucking love this movie. Now, I am a self-proclaimed end-all be-all when it comes to experts in musical movies, so this soundtrack being one of the best, maybe hands down the best I've ever heard in any musical, says a lot about this movie. I'm so glad a movie like this found mainstream success. Never in a million years would I think a modern crowd would be open to musical, let alone make it a huge success. The universal praise for it is well deserved, but is it really that good? Let me tell you my gripes with it. Number 1, the sound mixing was atrocious. I could barely hear Ryan Gosling whenever he would sing. Number 2, that spinning shot in the pool is the worst shot I've ever seen in a movie. It gave me a fucking headache. Number 3, the second act drags on because it becomes less of a musical, more of a stereotypical fulfilling my dreams but at what cost movie. Even though the first act super sets us up as a standard musical, a really fucking good one, might I say. I think the only reason I enjoyed this part when I initially watched the movie is because I spent the whole time hoping for the next song to come, but the drama that was happening just happened to be good. But now thinking retrospectively back on it, I don't ever want to watch the movie again because I feel like I wouldn't enjoy that second act. I just want to listen to the soundtrack instead and get the same enjoyment. Number 4, Sebastian is an asshole for going to that photo shoot. That's all I have to say. Number 5, it's nowhere near as good as Whiplash. That movie is a masterpiece in every meaning of the word, and this movie's problems hold it back from being on the same level. Still though, the last 10 minutes of La La Land are some of the most beautifully emotional that I've ever seen in a film. All the actors here are great. The cinematography is fantastic besides that pool shot. And once again, the soundtrack, man. I could listen to the entire thing over and over again for the rest of my life, and I would retain a smile on my face the entire time. God, I love this movie, man. But there happens to be one that just beats this to my number 1 spot, and that is number 1, The Lobster. Yup. I have absolutely no shame in saying that The Lobster, the movie that is the few people who saw it hated, is my favorite movie of 2016. I don't want to say it's because you people didn't get it, but a strong part of me feels like that might be the case for some. For others, maybe they got it, but didn't appreciate what it was doing, or at least the way it was doing it. The stilted acting, the bland sets and shot composition, the abnormal dialogue, all make a movie that sets a huge barrier of entry for enjoying this film. When you realize it's all intentional, you come to understand what the film is trying to say and how it's saying it. I totally understand that it just doesn't work for some people, and that's fine, but for me personally, this movie is so unlike anything else I've ever seen before, I will remember this for as long as I live. The themes of relationships, catering to society standards, etc., all really resonated with me, so I'm currently in a period in my life where relationships and how they should be done seem to be a big deal with people my age, and what this movie is saying is, fuck what others tell you. Sometimes, you feel left out for not thinking or feeling like everyone else, and that's okay. You could apply the feeling Colin Farrell's character has for the woman in the single society the way gays do for people of the same sex. For the longest time, the Bible and society have taught us that being gay is wrong. It goes against God's vision of man and woman, but fuck all that bullshit, yo. Sometimes, you gotta do what you gotta do and let yourself be happy. There are times in which sacrifices have to be made, like the one made in the end of this film, and you need to be okay with that if you are to truly fulfill your desires. Maybe I'm reading too much into it and I'm coming off as a full-on snob trying to tie political shit into this, but that's just how I see it. In general, I interpret the film as saying that love can't be dictated or controlled into ideals. Love is something that comes to all of us in different ways, and society has to learn to accept that. But hey, if you still hate the movie after watching it, that's fine. For those of you who haven't seen it, please do. It is truly unique and wonderful, and I don't know if there will be any others like it in the coming years. So there you have it, my top 16 movies of 2016. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you have a list of your own that you'd like to share it in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, and as always, I am outie with a yeet.